Back in the day, a pound of pasta only cost about 15 cents and was enough to feed a family of 6. That's why it became the lifesaver ingredient our grandparents relied on to create satisfying meals during tough times. From familiar dishes like pasta mixed with tomato and cheese to clever creations like pasta casseroles and baked pasta, these meals were simple and inexpensive, but packed with love. Today, let's join us in returning to Grandma's kitchen from years ago and discover 20 pasta recipes that once fed an entire generation through those hard times. Spaghetti with ketchup. During those days of financial struggle, when hardship was commonplace, your grandparents created a recipe that perhaps reflected the scarcity most clearly during the war. That was spaghetti with ketchup, a culinary solution that emerged when regular marinara sauce wasn't common or was too expensive in their area. You just needed to cook spaghetti and mix it with ketchup instead of the usual sauce. Ketchup served as a pretty good, acceptable substitute for expensive tomato sauce, an economically smart swap. At the time, this was considered a standard meal for the poor man, and it became a lifeline for many families. It was loved by everyone because it only used 2 ingredients, and both were very cheap. Its simplicity was so well known that many soldiers in World War II, who were stationed in faraway places like Japan and the Philippines, also knew and ate this dish. Today, some people still make this meal as a way to reminisce about a bygone era, a classic nostalgia. Your grandparents taught that the dish where what you see is truly what you get is often the simplest, coziest, and most satisfying meal. This spaghetti with ketchup proved that convenience and high economy could sustain a family through historical storms. Hormone pasta, poor man's spaghetti. During those years when real cheese was an unaffordable luxury, your grandparents knew how to innovate to create a similar flavor and texture for family meals with wonderful ingenuity. Hormone pasta was born from that very cleverness. This dish is also called poor man's spaghetti, a nickname that honors its cleverness and thriftiness, a skillful and very inexpensive solution. The dish uses spaghetti, which was only a few cents a package, an extremely economical ingredient. Instead of expensive cheese, breadcrumbs were added to the dish, which was the economic highlight of this meal. Breadcrumbs not only added texture, but also gave the dish a hearty feeling. To make sure the flavor wasn't bland, the dish was thoroughly seasoned with basic and cheap spices like garlic, onion, and chili powder. Spaghetti was an everyday staple and became a familiar choice for many low-income families, so this recipe quickly spread. This dish was so flexible that the recipe could be changed to suit even the sparsest pantry. This combination, even though it used only the most humble ingredients, truly created a quite wonderful flavor, proving that kitchen cleverness can beat the extravagance of expensive ingredients. Cold macaroni and pickle salad. On those hot summer days, when turning on the stove could heat up the whole house, your grandparents had a solution that cooled the refrigerator while cleverly using leftovers. Cold macaroni and pickle salad was the kind of dish that surprisingly appeared at summer picnics, and it usually disappeared from the table faster than anything else. During the years from 1950 to 1970, this was a flexible backup recipe for thrifty families who needed a quick lunch or side dish. This meal was a master of improvisation, as it was made from leftover elbow macaroni, diced dill pickles, and a spoonful of mayonnaise. A bit of celery or onion could be added if available. This dish could be finished in less than 10 minutes if the pasta was already cooked. People often said that homemade macaroni salad was actually tastier after being left overnight in the refrigerator, once the flavors of the mayonnaise and pickles had fully soaked into the pasta. When you took a bite, you felt the richness, depth, and crunch. The pickles added enough brightness to cut through the richness of the mayonnaise. The dish kept well in the fridge and was easy to take along. This combination provided satisfaction, convenience, and thriftiness, creating a humble but hearty summer feast, a dish capable of sustaining those who needed a filling meal. If you ever saw this lightning-fast salad on your grandmother's table, hit hype to continue the journey, of discovering old recipes. 10-minute pasta, Aglio e olio. This minimalist and elegant Italian culinary treasure is proof that sophistication doesn't have to come from complexity. This dish proves that you don't need many expensive ingredients to get a deep flavor, and it attracted hungry fans with its impressive simplicity. The dish became popular due to its fast cooking time of just 10 minutes, ideal for busy families craving rich flavors. The dish originated in Naples, the home of culinary minimalism. The main ingredients consist only of garlic, olive oil, and chili powder. The garlic-infused olive oil coated every strand of pasta, offering a subtle spiciness that blended beautifully with the richness of the starch. Nostalgia runs deep because many generations embraced it as an homage to rustic Italian peasant cuisine, where fancy sauces gave way to wholesome foundations. Your grandparents understood that precision in cooking the pasta al dente, or perfectly firm, was still the key to a perfect dish. The meal is proof that you don't need a full Italian culinary degree to impress guests. Just finesse and quality ingredients are enough. The fragrant, spicy, and elegantly minimalist smell of garlic made this dish appealing for weeknight dinners, unexpected guests, or even late-night cravings. Macaroni and cheese. Among iconic dishes, the macaroni and cheese your grandparents made in the 1960s holds a special meaning. It was far removed from today's complicated upscale versions filled with truffle oil. This pasta was homemade, not from the blue box, even though Kraft was already around. This dish was often Friday food in many Catholic families, the day when meat was abstained from. A proper macaroni and cheese used about 8 ounces of macaroni and 4 ounces of real cheese for 6 servings. The cheese sauce was a simple white sauce made from butter, flour, and milk, with sharp cheddar cheese grated into it. Sharp cheddar meant less was needed for flavor, and the white sauce helped stretch it further, a lesson in smart thriftiness. The dish was baked until bubbly with breadcrumbs on top. Macaroni and cheese was a side dish, not the main course, often served alongside a small slice of ham or a few sausages. Regular elbow macaroni was cooked just until soft enough, which required chewing, slowing down the eating process, and increasing satisfaction. A single serving contained about 300 calories, providing basic protein and energy for the whole family. This dish felt extravagant, but wasn't. It was simple, satisfying, and accidentally perfect for maintaining weight. Baked spaghetti casserole. This classic casserole is a testament to ingenuity developed over centuries. Baked spaghetti was a top-tier casserole that has existed since the early 1700s, created by Neapolitan chefs. This dish became a phenomenon in the United States during World War II, largely due to limited food supplies and the need for filling dishes. The casserole recipe is essentially just a combination of pasta and sauce. The ingredients include pasta, a mix of ground beef and onion, spaghetti sauce, eggs, cheese, butter, and a bit of salt. The pasta is tossed in a mixture of egg, parmesan, and butter, creating a special binding layer. Then, the dish is baked for half an hour, mozzarella is sprinkled on top, and it's baked a bit more until golden. This dish was introduced to America in the early 19th century, with Italian immigrants coming to New York. Sadly, it faded away when taste started shifting toward more natural, healthier foods. However, this dish is extremely versatile. Fortunately, it's starting to make a comeback in recent years as more people are beginning to rediscover its rich, creamy flavor. Did your generation have a dish that was considered bold or new at the time? Tell us about the changes in your family's cuisine. Tuna noodle casserole. The tuna noodle casserole appeared regularly on the table, and its distinctive smell, just like your grandmother's kitchen, became a signal that you were home. It became the undisputed champion of weeknight dinners for families trying to save money. The recipe for this casserole seemed to never change, becoming an unwritten rule: egg noodles, canned tuna, frozen peas, and cream of mushroom soup. Everything was mixed together and baked until hot and thickened. The final and favorite step was the crunchy layer of crispy potato chips, sometimes cornflakes, sprinkled on top, creating a perfect opposing texture to the creamy filling underneath. This casserole could feed a family of 6 for just a few pennies, an incredible saving. It was strangely addictive, cheap, filling, and kept well. A smart solution for every homemaker. Some versions added chopped celery or onion for extra flavor. Tuna noodle casserole became one of the warmest culinary memories of a generation. Turkey tetrazzini. Not a piece of turkey was wasted after Thanksgiving. That was our grandparents' golden rule, and turkey tetrazzini was the elegant solution for recycling leftovers. This dish was created by Chef Ernest Arbogast at the Palace Hotel as a tribute to the Italian opera singer Luisa Tetrazzini, and is believed to have first been made in San Francisco in the early 20th century. In the 1970s, it became especially popular as a way to reuse leftovers. This is a rich, comforting pasta dish featuring turkey meat, mushrooms, and Parmesan cheese. It starts by sautéing the turkey and mushrooms, then mixing them with a rich sauce made from butter, flour, milk, and chicken broth. The creamy mixture is then combined with cooked spaghetti, sprinkled with Parmesan cheese, and baked until bubbly and golden. The creamy sauce was often made from a blend of broth, cream, and sometimes cream of mushroom and vegetable soup, creating a perfect texture. This dish perfectly demonstrated the practical approach to home cooking during the economic challenges of the decade. Its creamy texture and familiar flavor made it a cozy family meal, an elegant leftover recycling solution. The dish was named after the Italian opera singer Luisa Tetrazzini, which added romance to this economical meal. Baked ziti. This Italian-American casserole became the midweek hero for busy families, delivering a satisfying Italian flavor without much effort. Baked ziti became a symbol of the culinary blend between the two cultures. The recipe is very simple but effective. Ziti pasta is mixed with ricotta cheese, marinara sauce, and mozzarella. Then, the dish is baked in the oven until bubbly and golden, spreading a warm aroma throughout the house. The true beauty of baked ziti lies in its make-ahead nature. Your grandparents could assemble the entire dish in the morning and just pop it into the oven when they returned home after a long day of work. When the dish came out of the oven, families gathered around the table, eager to cut a slice and watch the mozzarella cheese stretch from the fork to the mouth. A moment of simple joy. The combination of soft pasta, creamy ricotta, tangy tomato sauce, and stretchy mozzarella created complex layers of flavor in a simple dish. This dish was both satisfying and economical. This meal felt like a small family celebration, a cozy feast. Pasta with marinara sauce. Spaghetti and marinara sauce became a cozy and economical dish, an indispensable part of American cuisine. This popularity came thanks to Italian immigrants who taught their American neighbors a priceless lesson. Good food doesn't necessarily require expensive ingredients. Marinara sauce is the essence of simplicity and thriftiness, made primarily from canned tomatoes. What's amazing is that canned tomatoes back then cost only 10 cents a can, an absolute bargain. Grandma often simmered the marinara sauce on the stove, adding basic spices like garlic, basil, and oregano. This slow simmering process was the key to allowing the flavors of the tomatoes and spices to blend deeply, creating a rich, warm sauce without needing meat. Pasta itself was also an extremely economical starch. 1 pound of pasta cost about 15 cents and was enough to feed 6 people. This dish was a perfect meal to stretch the budget while still ensuring the necessary starch content for satiety. These were family dinners full of affection, created from the thriftiness and cleverness of our grandparents. If this dish brings back memories of your family's first period of prosperity, hit like and subscribe to the channel to join us in reminiscing about more warm memories and valuable lessons in thriftiness. Tagliatelle al ragù. Among the ragù recipes your grandparents tried to replicate from European cuisine, tagliatelle al ragù is Bologna's best-kept secret. This is the authentic ragù version, completely different from what is often mistakenly called basic bolognese, a dish that demands patience and respect for tradition. Ragù in Bologna is a slow-cooked sauce made from a blend of pork and beef. Additionally, the sauce is enriched with red wine, a touch of milk, and a finely diced vegetable mix like carrots, celery, and onion. Everything is simmered together for many hours to achieve perfect richness. It was a hearty meal, the kind your grandmother would make when she wanted to show off her cooking skills and ensure every family member was full and warm. This sauce has been perfected over centuries, reaching the pinnacle of flavor. Tagliatelle al ragù is so sacred in Bologna that they have an official recipe filed at the local Chamber of Commerce showing its importance in traditional cuisine. This dish is a combination of patience and love, turning basic ingredients into a memorable culinary experience, a true culinary heritage. Linguine al vongole, linguine with clams. If your grandparents lived near the coast, where seafood could be a cheap and abundant option, linguine al vongole became a sophisticated and elegant meal that wasn't expensive. This dish perfectly combines cooked flat pasta, linguine, with clams, garlic, white wine, and parsley. There are two schools of thought on this dish. The Bianco version, or the white version, is the more traditional one. In the Bianco version, the simplicity of the clams shines through, showing that elegance doesn't have to come from complexity. The second version is rosso, or the red version, which adds tomatoes for color and a mild acidity. Both versions are equally delicious, depending on personal preference. This dish is a great example of how Italian cuisine makes the most of fresh, locally available ingredients. Linguine al vongole is a cozy, easy-to-make dish that always felt like dining at a coastal restaurant, even when in the family kitchen. This pasta is a combination of savory sea flavor, the heat of chili flakes, and the fragrant aroma of garlic, creating a complete and memorable meal. Spaghetti, boiled carrots, and white sauce casserole. When the country needed absolute thriftiness, even at the highest levels, the spirit of ingenuity was highly praised. This simple casserole was promoted by First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt to encourage the resourcefulness of homemakers. This casserole was made from very basic ingredients: spaghetti, boiled carrots, and a simple white sauce. This sauce was created from milk, flour, salt, and butter, the most basic ingredients in the kitchen. The special point of this recipe is that the spaghetti had to be cooked for quite a long time, up to 25 minutes, to achieve perfect softness. The purpose was for the soft pasta to blend perfectly with the boiled carrot slices and the creamy rich sauce, making the dish seem heartier. This process helped stretch the quantity of the dish and increased satiety for the whole family by incorporating vegetables. This dish is a clear example of how homemakers of that era found ways to be creative in the kitchen to save costs during tough times. When your grandmother cooked this, it wasn't just a meal, but a lesson in practicality and smart calculation in the family kitchen. This simple and clever dish, a symbol of the effort to overcome hunger, helped an entire generation feel full and comforted. 10 minutes, stir-fried noodles. Facing a long workday and needing a hearty meal right away, this savory stir-fried noodle dish was the instant cure for dinner stress. Historically, noodles have held a revered place in Asian cuisine, with the earliest examples found in China over 4,000 years ago. This recipe is a quick, updated version to fit the busier pace of American families. This recipe required minimal slicing, easy cleanup, and the entire cooking process relied on just a single pan. It combined quick-cooking noodles, fresh vegetables, and a splash of soy sauce to create a savory, satisfying dish. The dish was famous for its rapid preparation speed. What's special is that this meal could also rescue any leftover vegetables about to spoil in the refrigerator, demonstrating the waste-not spirit of the grandparents' generation, who always made the most of what they had. The nostalgic element appears when many remember the time when simple stir-fries began to gain popularity in American kitchens during the 1970s. The flavor of the dish was undeniably appealing, and the texture remained a highlight, combining tender, crisp vegetables with pleasantly chewy noodles. It was a perfect solution for balancing work and family, ensuring a hearty meal in a short time. Spaghetti with butter. On nights when there was no tomato sauce or meat to cook, when sauce ingredients were beyond the reach of most families, pasta remained the essential solution for filling hungry stomachs. That's when spaghetti with butter rose to prominence, becoming a shared memory of a generation. This simple dish uses cooked spaghetti, mixed immediately with a little bit of butter or margarine while the pasta is still hot. This was a warming and energizing solution. If lucky, the dish might be sprinkled with a little salt, or if available, a little grated cheese. Memories of this dish are often linked to the meticulous thriftiness of mothers. They carefully saved butter for morning toast, scraping the remnants into a special container reserved for pasta night. This simple meal could feed the whole family for just a few pennies, providing the necessary carbohydrates to sustain energy. The pasta water was also never wasted. It was sometimes kept and used as broth for soup the next day, extracting every last bit of starch and flavor. In some households, this humble dish was even elevated by serving it on beautiful plates with a little parsley from the herb pot on the windowsill. This presentation proved that even the most modest meal could become something special and memorable. Beef and noodles casserole. This beef and noodles casserole is an example of a novel dish of that time, simple yet sparking a gentle culinary debate between generations. This casserole became a symbol of culinary boundary crossing. Americans introduced ground beef and egg noodles and tomato sauce into a casserole, a combination rarely seen before. This dish was popular among the younger crowd, those bold enough to try new foods and blend traditional recipes. However, most older or middle-aged people preferred to keep the custom of cooking spaghetti with meatballs and baked casseroles separate. They liked clear distinctions between dishes. This dish definitely looked like a hearty helping of Mom's spaghetti, except that beloved Mom back then never made her casserole that way. Although well-intentioned and designed to be cost-effective by using ground beef, this dish eventually faded as more people rejected this combination. This well-meaning casserole represented the shifts in family cuisine, causing many questions between the older and younger generations at the time. It was the tension between tradition and innovation in the family kitchen. Ham and noodle bake. Leftover ham from Sunday dinner was never wasted. That was the golden rule of the previous generation, and this casserole was the wonderful answer for Monday dinner. This is one of those casseroles that quietly did its job without demanding attention, transforming leftovers into a completely new, hearty meal. You start by boiling egg noodles until soft. Then, the noodles are mixed with leftover ham pieces, a can of cream of mushroom or cream of celery soup, depending on what was in the pantry, a little milk, and shredded cheese. This dish was always flexible, designed to use what was available. Then, the dish was topped with crushed crackers or popcorn or an extra handful of cheese. The casserole was then baked until golden and bubbly. The result was a rich, savory, and comforting flavor, a little salty, a little crispy on top, and perfect for seconds. It was the kind of meal that made the most of leftovers and turned them into something that felt entirely new, a lesson in smart thriftiness. The dish filled a 9 by 13-inch pan and the entire dining table for hungry mouths, ensuring no one left the table with an empty stomach. Spaghetti with Italian sausage. After many years of only eating spaghetti with butter or marinara sauce, your spaghetti night got an upgrade in the 1980s, adding a richer, more rustic flavor, signaling that a more prosperous era had arrived. This dish was the typical meal of that shift, a step above. In this dish, Italian sausage, mild or spicy, is browned and broken into large pieces, then simmered in red sauce until thoroughly flavored. Grated Parmesan cheese on top is essential, sometimes with fresh basil added for color and aroma. This wasn't a kid's dinner. It was messy, rich, and made you want a piece of bread to wipe the plate clean when you finished. The sauce, infused with the fennel and garlic from the meat, clung tightly to the spaghetti strands as if it belonged there. This was a noisy dinner. From the sizzle in the pan to the clinking of forks at the end of the meal, The dish was hearty enough to count as a complete meal. Parents loved this dish because it was quick and filling. Teenagers liked it because it tasted like restaurant food, a perfect blend of home cooking and modern upgrading. Ramen noodles. Before it became the familiar, cheap staple of college students today, ramen noodles were introduced to America as an exotic convenience food in the 1950s. It was quickly adopted by working families due to its economy and fast preparation speed, just hot water, and a few minutes for a hot bowl of noodles. However, grandmothers applied their kitchen intelligence to turn this simple, dry noodle dish into a much more nutritious and hearty meal. She often cooked the noodles in broth, seasoned with the included flavor packet, or to be even thriftier, she used cheap chicken bouillon cubes to create a rich broth. The highlight was that she often sliced extra green onions or cracked a beaten egg right into the boiling soup, a trick to boost protein and nutrition. The egg would instantly form soft, silky protein ribbons, making the soup much richer and more nourishing. The hot broth, fragrant with egg and green onions, made this simple bowl of noodles feel like a complete, warm meal. Packaged ramen, already a small miracle of convenience, became even more magical under Grandma's skillful hands. Penne alla vodka. In the 1980s, penne alla vodka was the pasta rock star, a dish that became a sensation, demonstrating the boldness of the new era. This dish quickly became a craze in the 1980s because it represented a recipe that was sophisticated enough, yet still based on the familiar creamy and tomato foundation. The origin of this dish is always a mystery, a story yet untold. Some say it was created by an Italian chef as a gimmick for a vodka company in the 1970s, or perhaps it was an entirely American invention. Either way, it brought excitement to midweek dinners. The uniqueness lies in the sauce, which is a classic blend of tomato, heavy cream, and a splash of vodka. This alcohol component has an extremely important job. Vodka helps to emulsify the sauce, turning it into a perfect smooth and rich mixture with a subtle aromatic scent. The result is a creamy sauce that clings tightly to every strand of penne pasta. This dish brought easy comfort and luxury, a cooking style that the grandparents' generation began to adopt as the economy stabilized. The sauce of this dish is rated as smooth and rich. This pasta, even after becoming outdated, has had a strong popular comeback in the past year or so, proving its timeless appeal. Fettuccine Alfredo with peas and bacon. During the years when family cuisine began to shift towards richer and more extravagant tastes, Fettuccine Alfredo with peas and bacon became a symbol of subtle upgrading in your grandparents' kitchen. This dish is an upgraded pasta meal, a classic comfort food, enhanced in flavor to become a luxurious cheese feast. The original story of Alfredo is quite special. It was created in Rome not as a hearty dish, but to help a woman regain her appetite after childbirth. It was practically a nutritional tonic. However, the American generation transformed that simple recipe into a more luxurious and complete cheese feast. This is classic comfort food built on a rich Alfredo sauce foundation. The sauce is made from basic but high-quality ingredients, butter, cream, and Parmesan. To elevate the dish and showcase the homemaker's ingenuity, this recipe was enhanced with two important ingredients. These were peas, adding fresh green color and subtle sweetness, along with savory pieces of bacon. Using bacon, sometimes leftover Easter bacon, is a wonderful example of how to utilize leftovers to turn them into a new, higher-end dish. Although the original version from Rome was much simpler, just butter and Parmesan, the grandparents' generation turned it into a culinary masterpiece. With every bite, you get the perfect balance between the creaminess, the sweetness of the peas, and the savory flavor of the bacon. The dish is satisfying enough to be a hearty dinner, bringing a feeling of warmth and luxury right to the family dining table. This dish proves that, with a little creativity, you can turn a simple recipe into a memorable culinary experience, a perfect blend of convenience and luxury. The pasta recipes we've just explored are not just simple meals. They are a legacy of resilience, thriftiness, and the wonderful ingenuity of our grandparents. During the hardest times, they transformed the cheapest ingredients into cozy dinners rich with love, sustaining an entire generation. Which of these 20 recipes brings back the most vivid memories for you? Please share your story in the comments. We look forward to hearing the memories you cherish. And if you want to continue the journey of honoring the precious ingredients of the crisis era, we will introduce you to the video 20 Cheap Potato Recipes Our Grandparents Ate Through the Great Depression. Besides pasta, potatoes were another lifeline hero for our grandparents back then. You will witness the incredible intelligence and creative adaptation when even potato skins were utilized completely. Keep following along. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel to join us in continuing this nostalgic journey, preserving the values and flavors that shaped our lives.